In the turbulent world of Genoa City, love is never easy, especially when it is caught up in the deep family feud between Newman and Abbott. Kyle Abbott, heir to the prestigious Abbott family, finds light in Claire, a woman with more subtle charm and inner strength than anyone he has ever met. But things are not as simple as a romance. Between them are challenges, intrigue, and a struggle between mind and heart. Claire's arrival, an unexpected connection. Claire arrives in Genoa City in a seemingly insignificant role. She was a nanny to Kyle's son, Harrison. But her presence quickly leaves a deep impression. Claire has a warmth, steadfastness, and a touch of mystery that Kyle cannot ignore. From their brief conversations at the breakfast table to the moments Claire spends caring for Harrison, Kyle realizes that she means more to him than he ever thought. Kyle not only admires Claire, but he has made a vow to himself, never to let anything happen to her. This is not just a promise, but a commitment driven by love and a desire to protect Claire from the dangers around her, especially Victor Newman, the Abbott family's arch-rival. Jack Abbott's concerns. However, not everyone shares Kyle's feelings for Claire. Jack Abbott, Kyle's father and the head of the Abbott family, has expressed his concerns about Victor Newman on more than one occasion. Jack knows how Victor manipulates people around him, and he suspects that Claire, even if unintentionally, could become a pawn in the ongoing war between Newman and Abbott. However, Kyle doesn't care. He trusts Claire and is willing to do anything to protect her. A bold proposal. As time went on, Kyle realized that Claire was not just a companion in his life, but an indispensable part. He wanted to keep her close, not only because he was worried about Victor's influence, but also because of his intense love for her. One day, after much thought, Kyle decided that the best way to protect Claire was to invite her to live at the Abbott mansion. The idea would not only allow him and Claire to be close to each other, but also bring joy to Harrison, who had missed Claire since she was no longer his babysitter. For Kyle, this was a way for the three of them to become a family. However, Kyle understood that making this offer would not be easy. Claire, who had been used to staying at the Abbott house to take care of Harrison before, still needed her own space. Kyle did not want her to feel pressured, so he planned to offer Claire a private room or even a small apartment by the pool on the grounds. This will be a start to making her feel more comfortable. Love blossoms and changes. Kyle and Claire's feelings aren't really serious yet, but that could change quickly. They're both drawn to each other, and the closeness will only strengthen their relationship. Kyle knows that if Claire moves in, things will change, not just for them, but for the Abbott family. Claire isn't blind to this either. She's starting to feel Kyle's genuine love and care, but there's also a vague anxiety about Victor Newman's control. Victor's actions, whether direct or indirect, have made Claire realize that life at the Newman farm is no longer a safe place for her. Moving to the Abbotts might be a better move, allowing her to escape Victor's influence and start fresh. The story between Kyle and Claire is about more than just love. It's also a battle between values, loyalties, and the desire for freedom. Claire will face difficult choices, while Kyle continues to fight to keep her by his side. Is their love strong enough to overcome the challenges ahead? Or will they be caught up in the vortex of family feuds and the never-ending revenge between Newman and Abbott? Kyle and Claire's journey has only just begun, but it's certainly not without its ups and downs. One thing is certain, their love will always be at the center, no matter where the future takes them. Love and power intrigue are constantly taking place. In that complex picture, the love of Kyle Abbott and Claire is gradually blossoming, full of challenges and fascination. This is not only a love story between two people caught up in a whirlwind of emotions, but also an endless confrontation between the Newman and Abbott families. Will their love bring them to the pinnacle of happiness or drag them into the abyss of suffering? Claire, the light in Kyle's life. When Claire first appeared, she was a simple woman, a nanny taking care of Harrison, Kyle Abbott's son. But from the very first moment, Kyle recognized something different in Claire. In her, it was not only the gentleness in taking care of Harrison or the enthusiasm in her work, but also a deep and strong soul, a light that Kyle could not take his eyes off. Claire did not realize how much she meant to Kyle. To her, being a nanny was just a job, but to Kyle, she made a difference every day. He felt his heart flutter every time he saw Claire being affectionate with Harrison or when they exchanged small stories about their daily lives. From a silent admiration, Kyle's feelings quickly developed into a fierce love he could not contain. Kyle promised himself that he would protect Claire at all costs. In a world full of intrigue and threats, Kyle's oath was not only a physical protection but also a commitment to keep her peace of mind. Jack Abbott and his wariness of Victor Newman. Although Kyle's feelings for Claire were becoming more and more obvious, that did not mean that the Abbott family would easily accept this relationship. Jack Abbott, Kyle's father, was an intelligent, experienced man who understood the dangers that Claire could bring. What worries Jack the most is not Claire, but Victor Newman, the head of the Newman family and the Abbott family's arch-rival. Victor Newman is known for his control and manipulation. Jack can't help but wonder if Claire has unwittingly become a pawn in the never-ending war between the two families. Jack loves Kyle and doesn't want him to get hurt, but he also doesn't want the Abbott family to fall deeper into the spiral of hatred that Victor always tries to fan. A bold proposal, moving to the Abbott mansion. Despite Jack's advice, Kyle feels more and more clearly that he can't let Claire be far away from him. The threats from Victor and his growing love make Kyle make a bold decision. He wants Claire to move to the Abbott mansion. Kyle has thought carefully about this proposal. He understands that this is not only a solution to protect Claire, but also a way to bring them closer together. Moreover, Harrison also loves Claire very much. Since she was no longer a nanny, Harrison had been thinking of her with longing. Claire living with him would not only help Kyle, but also make Harrison extremely happy. However, Kyle did not want Claire to feel forced. He decided to make a subtle suggestion, giving her choices and space. Maybe Claire would like a separate room in the mansion or a quieter space, like a small apartment near the pool on the Abbott family compound. He believed that this flexibility would make Claire feel more comfortable and more willing to agree. Claire faces Victor's control. Meanwhile, Claire increasingly realized an undeniable truth: Victor Newman was a powerful but also extremely controlling man. Although Victor always showed his support for her, Claire could not deny the suffocation he brought. Every action, every decision of hers seemed to be within Victor's sight, as if he was always ready to intervene in her life at any time. This makes Claire think more seriously about Kyle's proposal. Moving to the Abbott mansion might not only help her escape Victor's influence, but also open up a new beginning, where she can be more free in the way she lives and loves. Budding love and future promises. Kyle and Claire's relationship is in its early stages, but it is clear that both of them are strongly drawn to each other. Although they have not yet made a serious commitment, the closeness in their daily lives has made it difficult for them to separate. Kyle knows that this love is not just a temporary feeling, but something he is willing to build and protect for the rest of his life. Claire, although still a bit reserved, also feels Kyle's sincere love. She sees in him not only a strong man but also a warm heart, willing to do anything for the person he loves. She understands that agreeing to move to the Abbott mansion is not only a change of residence, but also a big step in their relationship. Can their love come together? Subscribe to Yonder for the latest news.